Let's go, we'll try it now. Would you please lie on your back and examine the way your body lies on the floor, the details, how the heels lie, how differently they touch the floor, not symmetrical to the feet. And now the calf muscles, back of the knees, the hip joints, coccyx, pelvis, the small of the back or the lumbar region, and then the small ribs, ribs on the right and the left usually don't lie the same way. The shoulder blades, the arms, not only how differently one hand and one elbow and one shoulder are on the floor compared with the other, how far they are from the body, they are not at equal distances. Now, think of the space or that angle between the right ear, the right cheek and the right shoulder, and see whether you could trace on the floor the shadow of that or the relief. Launch, think of the right side of the head, the ear, the jaw, the cheek, the eye, the forehead on the right, the temple, and then down the throat, behind it, below the ear, the shape of that neck, and the shape of the shoulder, to the tip of the shoulder, and then the right clavicule, from the middle of the throat to the end of the shoulder, and the shoulder blade, and now on the left side of the head, the left cheek, the left ear, the temple, the angle of the eye, the corner of the eye on the left, and the left ear, the left lobe, and then along the throat on the left, along the neck on the left, and the left clavicule, think whether both shoulders feel the same, have the same width. Is the head really in the middle? Now, very slowly, move both feet in such a way as to flex them. That's right, without lifting. Flex them. Don't change the position, just flex them. Flex them. And flex them again and stay there. Could you feel what it is to the head? Do that again, lower, then flex again and see whether you can feel the movement straight up to the head, where the head lies. Now, slowly, extend your feet. Now you can do it in many ways. You can do it where the heel and the feet slide on the floor anyway. But you can hold the heels on the floor so that when you move the feet, when you flex your feet, the whole body goes up and down. Up and down, because up is the head and down are the feet. So use your heels on the floor. You're pressing the heels so that when you flex your body, you feel the whole body moving up and down. When you flex the feet, the head grows out of the shoulders, and when you extend them, the head watch now. Slowly, keep on doing it. That's right. Observe only that when you flex your feet, but you must hold with the head, with the heels, the floor, otherwise you flex and you won't move. The heels, you stand as if you stand with the back of the heel on something which allows you to push the body. Now some people haven't got the idea. They slide with the heel on the floor. The heel moves on the floor. There should be no change. The heel is dug into the floor, and therefore they don't change position, the heels. It's the body that changes position. And don't lift anything, you don't only do that. With some people, it doesn't work at all, because they somehow don't perceive a thing because they haven't done it before. They can't get the idea. Now, can you dig your heels in the floor and spread your feet? They're not together. Spread your feet, spread your feet, spread your feet, and then with the heels pressing on the floor so that the heels don't move, flexing the feet would move the whole spine. And flex them so make the movement bigger. That's right. Now those who can't, please put both palms on the floor on either side of the body. The palms on the floor, not the knuckles, not the back of the hand. the palms on the floor. The palms, you have to cry to shout like in a school, because we are so used that unless we are ticked off, we can't do it by ourselves. So, a whistle. The palms of your hand on the floor. There's still somebody who doesn't do that. The palms of your hand on the floor. Well, how many times is it until it reaches every brain? Still somebody who hasn't turned his palms on the floor. Now, help with the palms on the floor to do the same thing what the heels do. It means you help with the hands to rock the body like that. That's right. That means what you can see when you flex your feet, you push with the hands to the floor. Do that discreetly. It means a movement and another movement. Press and before, that side. Many times, slowly. It means the hands, you see, press on the floor so that the friction doesn't let the hands slide exactly as we want the heels to dig into the floor so that they don't move. And therefore, moving the feet will actually push the spine through the chest, and this means that all the ribs and all the 12 vertebrae and the sternum, means the chest bone, all those ribs are getting into motion and not remaining a solid that can't be moved separately. You will see what it does slowly. Now, if by and by change that movement into a small movement, going back like a jello, like a pudding. But don't lift your body in the air. Don't. You must lie. The whole body lying. Otherwise, it won't do anything to you, to the muscles of the back and to the chest, because the chest will be stiff and held. Now, stop at a minute. Do it only with the right side. Only with the right side. And note what happens to the chest, to the body. Don't hurry. Do one movement clear so that you can feel that something is happening in the chest and the pelvis, but quite differently from the middle. That's right. Slowly, until you can realize what you're doing. That's right. Repeat that about 10 times, each time thinking of the whole right side and the head and the right shoulder and the right ear and the space between the neck and the shoulder. And now you do it on the right side. Yes, on the right side only. Do it with the hand only, without the heel. With the hand only. And observe that when you do it with the hand, with the hand only, when you do it with the hand only, the left heel, the right heel, slides a little bit on the floor. Now hold the hand not only for pushing, but also for pulling. It means that the right side with the hand would go up and also down, pull the floor, push the floor and pull it, push it and pull it. And do that many times until you feel that you're actually not pushing in a silly way. Something is happening not too harshly for the hand and for the fingers and for the elbow. Maybe you could change the position of the elbow relative to the body and make it easier or more difficult. See what happens if the elbow is away from the body more than the hand, that the hand is nearer to the body. That's right. Yeah. And now hyperextend your hand straight as it is, do it. It means make your elbow, lift your elbow off the floor, make it straight, the arm straight, hyperflexed, but not away there. And with a straight arm like that, do it with a straight arm. Now, in between the two, change the position of the arm so that you feel more comfortable, and that's more effective. That's easier. Let's stop it. Now, do the same thing with the right heel only. With the right heel, the right heel, not the left. If there were more, they would have more chances of getting wrong. Fortunately, we have only two sides, and that's already too much for many people. Now move the right side with the hand and the foot together, with the heel together. Don't hurry, don't hurry. Note what happens when you push like that upwards. Note on the right side which parts actually tend to touch the floor and which are lifted above the floor. Because the pelvis is rocked so that the small of the back goes to touch the floor, and the chest and the shoulders do the exact opposite, the lift of the floor. The right shoulder goes up to the floor, but the shoulder blade lies better, and the small ribs in front are pressed down into the chest, so that at the back, the chest widens on the floor, because the back, the ribs, the floating ribs, the small ribs, when you push like that with your heel, that's right, lie on the floor, touch the floor. Can you see that makes something unfamiliar, and therefore changing the muscular movement all over the place? Therefore there's something in the brain that must change to produce that. It's a new pattern, not used before. That's right. Now stop it. Just sense the difference between the right side and the left side. Both in the hips, in the chest. We have done in the beginning everything both sides equally, only a few movements on one side. Can you now feel that in fact when you do and pay attention, something happens on that side which doesn't happen when you don't do that, when you don't pay attention. Can you feel a difference between right and left? It's enough for anybody to pay attention to realize that there is a difference. Now, would you please stretch your right hand overhead on the floor so that the knuckles are above the head, like touching the floor. Doesn't matter whether the hand is straight or not, whether the elbow is straight, just to touch with the knuckles. And now push again that right side with the heel and see what it does to the right hand. What does it do to the knuckles on the floor? Now while you do the push, with that push, think of letting the knuckles move more upwards. With each push, think of the knuckles moving a little bit more. But you needn't go on stretching it each time. Just slowly. Go and then stop and then push again and let it go another little bit. But observe, while you do that, what is lifting off the floor to allow the arm to move? Obviously those bits, which parts lift and which are lowered to the floor to allow the arm to move a little bit more. Now, note again, while you push that, which parts keep on changing, be pressed to the floor and others lifted. Then obviously somebody holds them in the opposite way, which you shouldn't, because there's no reason why you do nothing that it shouldn't lie on the floor. In fact, with a little Gillette blade, I could go in between the ribs and just sever those things that interfere, and all the arms would lie absolutely flat, and everything would be on the floor, and without no effort. Now stop that, slowly bring the arm down, because it will ache, because the change is much bigger than one expects. And you can feel that something is changing in the shoulder blade and the pectoral muscles, that if you did it rapidly, suddenly, it will just be painful. That's right, slowly. And now, do again that right side, with both the hand and the foot together, and see how much cleverer the body becomes. Look now when I look, I can see it, everybody look, there are such an amount of movement that you wondered how was it that most people didn't move at all to begin with, could hardly see anything. A few did, of course, but a few, even now, there is very little movement. And now try to do a funny thing. With the hand, pull. With the hand, pull. And with the leg, push. And the other way around. It means that That's right. The hand and the foot are out of step. That's right. Now observe which parts are now pressed to the floor and which are going up. And observe also whether the head moves, whether the chin moves. Slowly, until you are sure that you're moving in opposite directions with the hand and the foot and the heel. Now move them together again, and say as before. Move them as before means together. The hand helping the foot and the foot helping the hand. Now increase the friction on the floor and have the palm on the floor pushing and the elbow sideways. That's right. Many keep on doing that, except that their left foot does exactly like the right one and they can't stop themselves. Can you see that is undifferentiated? It goes together. It shouldn't. You should be able to move the nose without the hand. That everybody can. But one foot without the other. In fact, you will see when something happens in the spine, like an injury in some break in continuity in the back, then you cannot move one leg without the other one doing something at the same time. It's impossible to deal with one leg without the other. But with a healthy person, it should be possible. If it isn't, it's because he never bothered to learn how to separate. And therefore he does many things with people like that. There are sprains in the knees, sprains in the feet, all sorts of trouble which shouldn't be there. It's like biting your tongue all the time because you haven't learned to speak without and eat at the same time. Children often bite their tongue, but when you grow up you stop doing that. But still occasionally it happens. Now stop it 10 minutes, put your right hand over your head on the floor and see whether the right hand feels lower to the floor, whether it lies better. And now again, push the floor with the heel and see whether you can straighten a bit, make the knuckles move a bigger distance up and down. While you do that, look each time you push, look at your hand and see whether you do that, whether it's getting a bigger movement or a smaller movement. Now look at the hand while you do it. Look at the hand while you do it. You need to hold the hand all the time, the head, to look at the hand, but you let the head come. Then when you move, you look. When you move, you look. Now, note whether there is which parts of the chest are now pushed to the floor. Can you feel that it's different with most of you? That's right. And now look to the ceiling and see whether now pushing with the foot and stretching the arm does something different from before. Can you see the chest lifts less and has changed, and the pelvis, everything is doing it differently from before. And actually some parts don't lift anymore from the floor. Alright, now stop it. Just lower your arms on either side of the body, slowly. That's right, move slowly because otherwise it might be painful. Now compare this sensation on the right, on the left, the way the body is lying, the right hip joint, the right knee, the heel, the back of the knee, the chest, the arm, the shoulder, and watch at the same time that the feeling of the right shoulder and the head and the right cheek and the ear and the neck and the clavicle. Note that. See how much wider that feels than the other one. And roll on your side, get up, walk around, and see the difference between right and left. Just walk and see. See the difference it feels between the right side and the left side. The right arm, the right leg, the right hip joint and the left. The right side of the face, the right eye, the right corner of the mouth. Just walk around and see whether it feels different. And look at the people around you and see their shoulder from behind. See the right shoulder and see the left. Have a look. At all the people that you look out there, look at the right shoulder and the left, the right side of the neck, and see which one is nicer. Which one looks better for the person at whom you look. Now lift your left hand overhead and lower it. Do it a few times just to feel how it is. Now, and do it to the right side and see the difference. Now, remember also that at the beginning we did both sides equal for some time, and it's only the few movements different. Lift again and realize that that shoulder, the right side has learned something that the left doesn't know, and that you have to, in your brain, shift it from right to left. Alright, that's enough. Now, look at each other's faces and again watch, see the right shoulder, the right clavicle. See the width of it, the form, the shape of everyone in front of you. Just to realize that these things do something which cannot be done in any other way. If you look at the height of the shoulders, you see one shoulder is higher than the other and is wider in the clavicle from the other. Now look at them and see, walk around, look, don't stop, make it awkward, just have a look. You can look going down from the corner of the eye to see it and say, oh yeah, this one, right, is different from the left. Which one is higher? With everybody, the left or the right? Look, you come here, please. You. Now, look at what I see. Look at this shoulder and that clavicle. Look at that one. look the pectoral muscle here and look how this one is. Can you see that way? Look at that. I took the first who came near to me. Can you see the difference or you don't? Can you feel the difference? Well, thank you very much. Now would you please lie back on take up your stations. We always speak in military terms. We fight inflation. We're always big fighters. So take up your stations. Rest a minute or so, and just while you rest, see whatever difference you can detect in your body from one side and the other. And lie on your stomach. Now, bend your feet as in a start. You know, people, you've seen people starting to run, means you stand on with the feet bent, flexed, you stand on your big toe and whatever it is, and the small of it, most people it's not what it should be, but some put their feet like that, you can see that it's all good for them and they can't do it. Then the feet don't bend. Now, flex your feet as much as you feel comfortable, correct, and stand with the toes on the floor as if for running. See? And now, put both hands in front of you, but on either side of the shoulders, as if for pushing up. That's right, for pushing up. Means the elbows in the air. That's right. Very slow, like that. And now just not to rub your nose on the floor, lift it a little bit, but keep it straight. Keep not on one side, but in the middle. See? But just enough, but don't push up. Just the head is lifted so that what we do will not rub the nose and the thing and the chin on the floor. And now slowly extend your feet. Therefore you will find that your knees must lift off the floor. No. You dig them in the floor. Oi. You put the feet for running and don't lift them. Dig your toes as if for running, so that you have the same effect as before with the heels. And when you push the floor, you will find both knees lift off the floor. Now do that. Bend the knees, let them on the floor, and do with your feet. Push and lift them. Push and lift them. Discreetly, it means discrete movements, not jelly now. Each movement separate. That's right. Feel that you can push, when you push the floor, the heels, the knees lift and leave the floor. But observe that the body gets bigger and the head moves forward. How does it do it? It means that the spine goes to the chest, which is the form, and makes you smaller than you really are. That's right. Now watch slowly that when you stretch the knees like that, the pelvis is pushed and pushes the spine, that changes the position, the relation of the chest to the pelvis, and therefore the head grows out of the shoulders, and the nose or the chin move on the floor, becoming taller. Do that slowly. And now help the movement with your hands so that you can push them down in a place where when you move forward, the hands push the floor back so that you can go forward even more. And back when you move, the hands push back. That's right. Now you would feel that the elbows move forward as much as the heels move forward. Note, the elbows and the heels move the same way, forward and backward, forward and backward. And lift the head only enough not to clean the floor with your face. Now, gradually make that movement simple, or stop a minute, rest a little, rest a little. Now put your right foot only, like we did before, the right foot only. We want to learn, after all, not to make both feet do the same thing, so that one can go forward while the other one stays behind. Now, put your right hand on the floor in front of you like we did a minute ago, right hand. And the left, move with the knuckles back, lying alongside your body, on the floor, the knuckles on the floor, the palm upwards. Now turn your face to your right, to the right, and now push with the right heel and see what the body does like that. Do it. One, help with the right hand. That's right. Keep on doing it. Gently, slowly. Now observe that your right foot can move, can push with the big toe, and can move so as push with the small toe. Also, move your foot so that the heel goes right and left, and that you can push with this, all the toes, the small toe, and then only with the big toe, until you find which is the right position for the leg to push best, most powerfully. And then you will see that it's not on the big toe and not on the small toe, but it is where the push is between the big toe and the second toe. That's where the strong, good foot pushes. But if you force yourself to do it, with many feet you'll feel painful. So move right and left. You see, many people find that they have cramp in the foot. Stop a minute, rest that leg. And try again. The rest is only the interruption of the movement. It's enough. It's not so tired. Now, you lift the right knee off the floor by pushing with the right foot, and then that's right. Now, hold the right foot as you are, but do the movement only with the hand. Both up and down, only with the hand, only with the shoulder, only with the elbow, as it is, so. But move it up and down, not backwards. Move it in the direction of the head and downwards. Really small, that's right, that's right. Move it forward, in the lying position it means forward, from the point of view of the floor, but from the point of view of a human body, up means in the direction of the head. So move upward and downwards with your right shoulder, right elbow, right hand. That's right. And see whether you can leave the head lying, not to hold it, and that makes a big difference. Lie the head, don't hold it. Put it on the floor, though it's not so. We have cleaned it actually before you entered. We cleaned the floor before you enter. That's right, stop it. And now, stretch that right arm overhead on the floor. That's right. Push with the right foot and look at it at each push so that the right hand can get longer. With each push. Look at it. But each time lift it, put it on the floor, push and look at the hand and see whether you can actually make the hand move at least as much as the heel. That's right. Slowly. Observe that in order to do that, something again changes in the front of the chest on the floor. Feel the lower ribs protrude with most people unnecessarily, and you can feel something happening there differently in one side from the other. That's right. Now stop that. Lie on your back again. Observe the difference between the right and the left, the way it lies now. Now, note again that we did even here, we did at the beginning everything with both sides equally, and then show you that the one you pay attention, it improves and changes much more than just when you do it. Now, this time again, put your right heel, dig your right heel into the floor. The left one, leave it limp. And with the right hand on the floor, help the body to move the right side only, both together in the same place. Only observe the extent, how much bigger that movement became. In the shoulder, in the hip, in the chest. Observe how much more movement there is. But of course those who hold the right arm with the elbow straight means the hyperflexed arm. The arm was always bad and is bad now too. You have to allow the elbow move away. Otherwise, look, if the Almighty didn't want the elbow to bend, He wouldn't put an elbow there. Now, lie still. Just look at your body again like in the beginning. See whether you can feel slighter differences than before. The heels, how the right one is, how the left. Which foot is turned more. outside, the right or the left. Feel the different sensation in the right elbow and the left elbow. In the right part of the chest, the pectoral muscle. And now look again at that corner on the floor between the right shoulder and the neck, the clavicle, the shoulder blade that you can see or feel upwards, the right side of the face, the temple, the corner of the eye, the right cheek, the right ear, the corner of the jaw, and the neck, and that corner all together. And now bend the right leg only, and the right hand, bend above your head, and bend above your head, and there you see you feel now the knuckles touch. Now turn the fingers on the floor, lift your elbow, and put that wrist with the fingers towards your feet, as if to make a bridge. That's right. That's right. No, you can't bridge like that. Look, you move your hand like that with an axe, and then you move your fingers and put the thing on the floor. That's right. Some can't, of course, and some can. Don't press, doesn't matter. If you touch the floor anyway, like that is good. Now, lift your right hip joint as if rotating to the left. Then the hand will be standing better. You put it on the floor. You'll find a point where you can do it. Everyone, you can do it. Put the hand elsewhere. Put it where you can do it. That's right. Slowly. Now keep on. Push the floor with the right. Don't. The hip. Push the floor. The hand, knee remains standing. Push the floor like that. That's it. And then you see when you push the floor with that, a second afterwards, obviously the right shoulder lifts, and it's easier to organize the hand there. Now keep on doing that until you can put the hand standing firmly on the floor. Change the position of the hand until you feel it can stand firmly on the floor. And come back with the pelvis, lift it again, and keep on doing that. That's right. Now, you see here too, there's a hip joint and a shoulder. You see the hip joint goes first and then the shoulder. Now try to do the opposite. Lift first the shoulder. Don't lift the hip at all, just the shoulder. Doesn't matter how small the movement. Lift the shoulder. Now watch, when you lift the shoulder, the chest does something quite different from before. The part that was lifting before is now going down on the chest. Observe that. Now, many times move that with the shoulder only. Position your hand so that you can do it. That's right. That's right. And now lift again the right corner of the pelvis, means the right hip joint, and see now whether the hand and the shoulder lift more and some can actually. Look, there is room for the head to go under the right arm. The back of the head. The back of the head. Look to your right, to your left, and the back of the head can go there. Go back. That's right. And now lift the right hip joint and lift the shoulder and the head back. That's right. And now keep on doing that until you can organize the thing becoming as simple. You must look to the left, otherwise you can't take the back of the head there. Look to the left and put the back of the head. Now, move it until you can see your elbow. That's right. Slowly and back again. That's right. Now, stay like that a second. Put your hand there. And see where on the floor, wait a minute, slowly, don't do that. On the floor, lift only the right hip joint a little bit, and then lower it and lift the shoulder. Lower it, lift the shoulder, lift the hip, lift the shoulder. No, lift the shoulder, only the shoulder, lift the hip, lift the shoulder, lift the hip, lift the shoulder. Keep on doing it. Gently. Don't roll, you don't have to roll. Just lift the shoulder, lift the hip. Lift the shoulder, lift the hip. Now, don't take the head under the head. Leave the head normal on the floor. Leave the head normally on the floor. Leave the head normally on the floor. Now do that. Shoulder, hip, shoulder, hip, shoulder, hip. And put them back on the floor. Each time. Now put the shoulder back on the floor clearly so that it's like a little bank. That's right. Put the shoulder back with a little bank. Put the pelvis back with a little bank. That's right. Bang. 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 That's right. Now, a few times. Now lift them both together and bang them both together. It's difficult to make really together. Try again. That's it. No, without rolling, not rolling on the side. It is the muscles of the side that work. Alright? Now stop it. Stop it. Stretch out the right arm and the right leg. And again examine the right side of the head, the cheek, the corner there, the back of the neck on the right, and the chin and the jaw and the ear and the temple and the corner of the eye and the right shoulder, tip, clavicle, and the corner between the head and the shoulder. Now slowly get up, walk around, and look at each other's face and shoulder to see the difference should be enhanced. Walk around and see, and sense, feel, observe, look at each other's shoulders, and look at on which leg do people put the accent when walking now. Which leg is the clever leg? Which side, which arm is the clever arm? Which hip joint is the clever hip joint? Watch and you see that you actually all limp. One side is, the one is good and the other one is an orphan. That you do him a grace to let him cooperate. Watch the feeling in the left, in the right foot, in the right knee, in the right hip, on the right shoulder, right side of the body, and see what this feels, what the other one does. That's right. Thank you very much.